Dreams are made of these.
Who am I
Cats
to
are definitely up there
disagree?
messing with stuff, but
Ooh. Welcome to the Glaziar Gambol podcast that is presented by the two of us dudes right here. Today, normally we talk about, entertainment, superheroes, that sort of thing. There's really not anything super exciting to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about it next week, but Sydney Sweeney confirmed going to be playing
a Julia
Johnson
Carpenter,
Carpenter. That's what I meant. Yeah,
Julia Carpenter, yeah,
Carpenter in Madam Web, the
which
Madam Web movie,
is a
the second
Spider Woman. Yeah, it's a
Spider
Spider
Woman,
Woman.
and the second Madam Web.
God, what's the main Spider Woman's name?
I can't think of it. So we could talk about that. Could talk about live action Miles
Jessica
Morales.
Drew. Sorry, I knew that. Jessica
Miles
Drew. Yeah,
Morales
Miles
is going to get
Morales.
live action. Talk about Secret Invasion is supposed to be heavily based on the Skrulls viewing Nick Fury as their number one enemy.
Sure,
Could
because they
talk,
didn't do enough. He didn't do enough for them,
yeah,
I
yep.
guess. Right.
And then there was one other
Yeah,
major
Flash and Across the
superhero.
Spider-Verse, right? And then Secret Invasion. Those are kind of the next three projects coming.
Yeah. So it was just we got some stuff like that. Chris Hemsworth saying he wants to play a different Thor. Whatever. Anyway.
He just doesn't want Taika Waititi in that dumb comedy, I guess. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I mean, I'm also done with Taika Waititi, just being honest. His
Get the
style
one, yeah. Yeah.
his style
It's
is
very
not
dry. It's
it just
dry.
doesn't translate well onto script. I feel like he would probably make tremendous plays. And he would probably make a very
He'd
he'd be
be a
able to make a
really
good
good
TV
like
show.
Ant-Man director.
Even then, I don't think so. I think he'd be great as like an additional writer on South Park.
Sure.
Or like, I feel like while he is very good at his job, what he does doesn't really translate
To
to
an
for
MCU
as
project.
yeah, for MCU, for large blockbuster films. I feel like he definitely excels at potentially an indie film format. I don't know. Just for my personal
Sure.
viewing, my
What do
own
you how
viewpoint.
about like a because it actually just recently Haley Steinfeld said she can't wait to get back
That was the other
into
thing. Or Young
um
Avengers.
can't wait, yeah, Young Avengers. How do you how would you feel say like Taika with a Young Avengers? Do you want something
Absolutely
fresh?
not.
Okay, yeah, I don't either.
No, absolutely not. I think if you're gonna have him do projects, they should be Disney Plus shows. I wouldn't put him
Which I
in
think a Young
theaters.
Avengers could be kind of a Disney Plus show. It
Mm-hmm.
depends what they want to do because you gotta highlight Kamala Khan, America Chavez,
For the
Kate
same
Bishop.
reason, you wouldn't want Korg being the main character of a movie.
Sure.
I feel like that Korg is a great representation of Taika. Like he even
He
says
is
himself, he
Taika.
doesn't
He
do
is
anything.
Taika. That
Right. He
that
says,
is
I don't
Taika, right?
voice act, I don't act, I'm just me, and people pay me to do it. That's a direct quote from Taika.
Right.
He's like,
Right.
I don't act. I don't know why they pay me. He like straight up said that.
But you have to commend him for what he did with Ragnarok
Right, absolutely.
because it was like a breath of fresh air to the Thor franchise that was kind of
But I also think it would
questionable.
be smart to look at the other people involved in that movie and maybe check to see if those people are also involved in successful films, or if they've
Sure.
also or if
Sure.
Ragnarok was just a one off for them as well.
Right.
Because if it
Sure.
was a one off for them as well, I think we can say it was just happens to
Yeah,
be
I
a
think you
lightning
could
in a
have gone
bottle
to a
movie.
different direction. I'm always for a fresh view on things. I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head with James Gunn
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the Russo brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and John Favreau. I think those ones that they've all had their kind of their hand in the cookie jar with all these movies, and it's stayed successful and stayed true to kind of what we expect. But yeah, I think like even like Peyton Reed with Ant-Man, I think that's kind of gone down a little bit.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
a fresh view on even Ant-Man and the Wasp and especially Quantumania could have been a lot better for that franchise. So, but
Yeah.
what do we have to talk about today? That was a tangent, but I like that. I like that.
So, what we have to talk about, our topic is what are some of the most memorable, or maybe even best, if you want to phrase it that way? We're going to phrase it as memorable because that's a
Sure.
little less confrontational. Most memorable superhero quotes. That is not Marvel only. Just letting people know.
Right.
There's
Yeah,
not.
I roped it into comic book movie.
I have one DC. I think the other
Okay.
two or
I
three I have
have
are Marvel.
okay, I'm
I
interesting.
purposely didn't look them up because in my opinion, if I had to look them up, it wasn't that memorable.
I have 3 DC,
Okay.
2 Marvel, and I have one honorable mention of 1 Disney.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? You
Yeah.
want to alternate? You all in one and then all in one?
Let's alternate because I want to save my favorite one for last.
So you have more than me, so let's start with you.
Okay. So I have so we and you agreed to do like 2000s on, right?
Right.
Like kind of 2000s on. So this one's very I debated. I was going to do I am Iron Man. Okay. I was going to do I am Iron Man, but I decided to go with I'm Batman.
Okay.
Which was in Tim Burton's Batman, which is in like the late 90s, 80s, late
Hmm.
80s. But Deadpool said it.
And Michael Keaton says it in the upcoming Flash movie.
Yes. So yeah, I did I'm Batman.
All
Because
right,
that's
so
just that's iconic and quote worthy, right?
yeah,
Okay.
the very first one that came to my mind was I am Iron Man.
Yep, I had that one on here, but I decided to do with I'm Batman. So that we're on the same kind of wavelength.
So my reasoning for I am Iron Man was that set the stage for the MCU because Robert Downey Jr. wasn't supposed to say that. He was supposed to give
Right.
a regular speech and hide his identity.
Right.
And Robert Downey Jr. ad-libbed it, and then it
Yeah.
became like the premise of multiple superheroes knowing their identity, it being a possibility for the MCU, which is part of why the MCU was so successful, is they
Right.
went that route because that's a big thing with like Superman is it's
Batman,
so
Bruce
obvious
Wayne.
who they
Right.
are.
Right.
So it's like let's just go out there and admit it. I thought it's so memorable because when people think MCU, that's usually one of the first things they think of.
Sure. No, I like I said, I had it, but I decided to go with I'm Batman.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
That's a
so
good one.
okay, I'll go again. With great power comes great responsibility.
That's a really good one. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that I did Uncle Ben. I mean, it's 2 movies, and then you have Uncle or Aunt May that had a little bit of a different variation.
Yeah. Well, and
Like
that
with
travels outside of the superhero world.
right. So I
That
just think
quote is everywhere.
that one's iconic. Just in kind of our era
Yeah.
of stuff. So that was a good one. This one's kind of older too, but comes from a villain, and I said, "Why so serious?"
Ooh, that's a good.
I
Yeah.
think that one's very iconic.
Why so serious? Oh.
I mean, even right after that, you had Stevie Johnson do the "Why so serious" when they
Mm-hmm.
went up against the Bengals because the Bengals Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco said him and T.O. are like Batman and Robin. So
Mm-hmm.
Stevie Johnson catches a touchdown versus the Bengals, then lifts his shirt and says, "Why so serious?"
Yeah. And that was
So
the most common Halloween costume that year by a
right,
long shot.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So shout out, rest in peace, Heath Ledger.
so you
But
went with the more popular of that film series.
sure,
I have a quote from that same trilogy I
okay,
thought of, but it was from
sure,
the third one, probably people's least favorite of the three, which
okay.
is
I think I know what you're going with, but keep going.
you were you
Yeah,
were
you were
simply what
born.
was it?
Yeah, you were like you were born in the
You were
darkness. I was molded by it.
I was
Yeah,
born in it, molded
yeah,
by it.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's a good
that
one.
one. That's the one. So like that one sticks out to me
Sure.
because I've seen that turn into memes. I've seen people use it for inspiration. That scene, that character Bane has been talked about
Yeah,
by just film people, superhero
yeah.
people. And I think Tom Hardy's Bane, whether people want to admit it or not, is one of the
Like,
best portrayals of
oh
a
yeah, he
villain.
could have. It could have been. I think the writing kind of held him back, but he could have
Mm-hmm.
been. Bane's awesome.
Bane
So
is
like,
sick, and Tom Hardy played it really well. Yeah, people say he's not very polite person. People didn't like that's part of why they don't like the character. But my gosh, that movie, he kills it. And every time he speaks, I felt like the theater went more silent
sure,
every
yeah,
time he spoke.
yeah. And then this one kind of is a kind of like a style choice almost. It was very like prevalent in like major sports. But Wakanda Forever, when Chadwick Boseman yelled that out, Wakanda Forever, like
Yeah.
that. That's huge.
Absolutely.
Even like Ti going like, man, we in Wakanda,
Well, and there's
like
tons of like,
for,
who was it? Who was it? I feel like it was a defensive lineman in the NFL. Said who he's like says his name and then he goes Wakanda forever, like
yeah,
screams it instead
yeah,
of like what college you went to or whatever. I can't. There was a defensive lineman I swear that did it, but
sure.
Seahawks. I feel like it was a Seahawks lineman or something. But
I
yeah,
actually,
that's
yeah, I just added another quote that thought of it in my head, so we'll do that one in a little bit. All
one
right,
from
so
that
my
same
favorite,
movie I've quoted a whole bunch is Bombay. I feel
yeah,
like
yeah,
just like I could turn on that short clip of them going like Bombay.
yeah,
And then like they do the
right,
slap, and I feel like it gives me chills every time.
right,
It's not
right,
necessarily like memorable, but it's sick. So let's throw that one
right.
in there.
Um, all right, this one. We quote this every time we go up against Mordekaiser, Camille. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Rorschach from Watchmen.
Yeah.
Um, so that one's like that was the first thing like I thought of. Like it's just I don't know. I love that quote. Like they
Yeah. I think it's one of the
like
best it's underrated superhero movie, one of the best
uh,
quotes. I think it's awesome.
the
That's a good one.
so all right. So this
That
one
was
doesn't
my
even
honorable mention.
that one was
That was my honorable mention was
sure
Rorschach's I'm not locked in
Rorschach. Yeah.
here with
Yeah.
you. You're locked in here with
Yeah, because like he goes, they capture Rorschach. He goes to prison. All the villains he put in there prior want a piece of him, and then someone comes at him with a knife. He reaches through the glass, pours oil on him, and then he's like, "I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me." So just
yeah.
great. All right, I got two left here.
Okay.
One. This is not the honorable mention. This is the one I just thought of. It's Morbin time.
Okay.
Might be one of the biggest quotes to just not exist but still exist.
Mm-hmm. Good honorable
Um,
mention.
yeah. All right, and then my honorable mention is, "Honey, where's my super suit?"
Where's my super suit?
Yeah.
Oh, and
So
I'm the greatest good you're ever gonna get. It's one of
yeah,
the best scenes. Just
yeah.
I love
So
that.
yeah, that's a comic book adaptation because The Incredibles had a comic run for a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's a
so
good one.
that's one I thought of too. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Basically anything Edna Mode says then. Like I
yeah,
didn't think about Incredibles.
yeah.
I feel like I quote Edna Mode, especially to my wife,
You
like
got
all the
any
time.
from Big Hero 6? Because that's a comic book run too. Hito?
I don't know. Every time his aunt comes on screen, I just kind of black out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there's one of the. It's near the end, like the climax of the movie. It's Baymax before he launches his
Oh,
fist.
like I'm
But
Baymax. Ba la la la.
yeah, yeah, that was my text
That's a
tone
good one.
for a
Yeah.
while. Was that's a good
Ba la la
one.
la. Yeah. I'm not fast. We do
Yeah,
that
we
one.
say that one a lot. I'm not fast. That's probably more people should be quoting that one because
Yeah,
that's so
yeah.
nobody
That is a
runs.
good one.
Nobody
Yeah, I
runs.
know.
No,
Uh,
I've never seen an
I
adult
walked
run in my
outside and
life.
I'm like beat of sweat. I'm like, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
I know. I
going in.
came home and my wife and kid were outside, and I was like, "Get inside the house now!" Just I know.
Son.
The snow's gone, and I'm just like, "All right, I can come back now."
Yeah, yeah, it's hot.
Honestly, I tried to think of some newer ones. Like I tried to think, was there anything from Loki that was like super quotable for me? I couldn't think of
Sure.
anything. Same with WandaVision. There's nothing like sometimes they're quotable as just the character, but I was looking for more things that could apply everywhere. So,
Sure.
like with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
Just, ones that apply
Sure.
can reach a wider audience. So I feel like a lot of the newer ones, a lot of the quotable scenes are more like because it's the character saying it to another character.
Yeah. Right.
Because
And I think
because
I did
Thanos had
debate
multiple.
yeah.
Should have gone for the head. It's really not that cool outside of it.
I'm inevitable.
Right, I'm
That's
inevitable. It's
yeah.
much better in the
Sure.
in
And
that
then I
scene.
also thought of I don't remember what the quote was, but when old Professor X is talking to young Professor X and he says the quote in there that's very it's like it's not how you do things or I forget what he says,
Right, there's
but
a couple like maxim statements that people say that they're too long and too profound for me to like think of on the spot without searching and memorizing.
right.
But things like that, like old Professor X to young Professor X, Baymax at the end before he, spoiler alert, gets lost or whatever in the portal. There was one I was thinking at the Alfred's speech at the end of The Dark Knight.
Sure. Yeah.
That one's another one because I thought of that, but I was like, I can't remember word for word what he says. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, we basically listed all the ones I was thinking of. When I originally was trying to come up with them in my head, for some reason I thought of, I'm Star-Lord. Ooh?
Right.
For some so that I didn't think that one was memorable, but that was for some reason when I thought, what's one of the first Marvel or DC or superhero quotes that I think of? Ooh, and for some reason it's Ronin, that scene at the end of Guardians with the dance battle and grabbing the stone. I feel like that's one of my favorite scenes. So for some reason,
sure,
Ooh to Star-Lord sticks out. You could say I Am Groot is up there for memorable. Right. I'm Groot.
Sure I quote I'm sure I quote Deadpool like multiple times. Just anything from Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds.
You know what? I'm throwing We Are Groot as an honorable mention because I feel like people. I saw again sports teams say that. You saw memes about it, so we'll say We Are Groot.
Sure.
In there, I would like to know what other people. What is your like? Anybody listening?
What's your most quoted comic book movie?
Right. Quote. Either what do you think is the most relatable to public? Do you think what do you think applies most in majority of situations? Or which one do you quote the most with your friends? I know that the I'm not fast probably not that quotable for everyone, but you and I
say that. Oh yeah.
We say it a lot.
I'm coming, I'm almost there. I'm not fast. Yeah.
Help, I am not fast.
That's right.
So there's different ones for everyone. I think I'm glad we got something like we got an animated one in there. We got Watchmen in there. I didn't want to just stick with the MCU, which is why I feel like I hard thought of Dark Knight and
the Rorschach one was the first thing that came to my mind. Like
it's a really good one, and it's I feel like it almost feels like it's stolen from a horror movie.
Right. I mean, Rorschach's very horror based. You know what I mean? Like Rorschach's pretty intense, but
We Are Groot, We Are Venom. Toss them in there together as like honorable mentions.
No, yeah. What are you?
Otherwise, nothing from Venom's probably quotable.
Yeah.
I love those movies just because I love Venom, but I just have to be honest. Like they're not the greatest. Not the best.
They're not bad.
They're just turn off your brain enjoyable.
Yeah.
If you turn off your brain, don't pick it apart, don't think about comics. It's just they're decent. They're good movies. Otherwise, I don't really have much else. We got our side topic, we got our quotes in. I like shorter episodes. That means I can get more fun editing in. So if you're watching this as a short and there's not a lot of edits, that means I got lazy and suck. So
I got terrified, so I just started sucking.
Yep.
See, here's the thing. Like, you could even say that, like, you could quote Arcane, like because Arcane technically they did a comic book. League of Legends did a comic book run with Marvel for a little bit. So like technically, that's a comic book series, I guess. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things that went from like a comic book adaptation to the big screen. Like that's why I thought of like Incredibles. I had to see if there was a comic book run of it, which there was. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Joe's gonna go play some Diablo. I'm gonna go.
No, I'll play a game with you if you want. I mean, we usually play a game together. I'm sure I can't even get into the queue. So,
for any of you that are watching that play Diablo, I hope you have fun and enjoy the game. At the moment, I don't have it. I'd like to get it, but at the moment, I don't have it. You all look great today. Hope it was a good week for you all.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah,